Bad Brad Berkwitt Show is all about moving humanity forward and fighting for democracy. And remember, folks, every act of kindness is a little love we leave behind. Hey, folks, the man with the pinky ring and the New York thing. Forget about it. Bad Brad Berkwitt. And welcome to the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show on the Ringside Report web TV channel. Forget about mainstream media. Yesterday, President Biden did a rally in Detroit, Motown. Motown for Joetown. Great slogan. He was on fire. Crowd loved him. Chanted, "We got your back, Joe. Move me, really move me." And he was moved too. He called you out, but he didn't call you fake news like the other guy does, Trump. He didn't call for things to be done to you, hurt you. But he asked you to cover him fairly. If you're going to cover his flubs, you need to cover Trump's flubs, is basically what he said. I'm paraphrasing. And that's true. And you may or may not know this watching this video. I've been part of mainstream media for close to 30 years. Most of it was in the boxing world. And guess what? Had a lot of success. You know why? Because I always covered people fairly. I always let people be heard in their words. When there was a story, I covered it. I didn't ask softball questions. And people never had an issue talking to me on and off the record. We're in the most important election of our lifetimes. Donald Trump is, was, and always will be an existential threat to democracy, and just as important to me is humanity. He's a racist. He's a misogynistic pig. He's a treasonous traitor. He's a lying grifter. And I could go on and on and on. He's a convicted felon. He's an adjudicated rapist. He was found liable, however you say it, for fraud with his businesses in New York. In fact, he can't do business in New York. He had 6 bankruptcies. And some of those were casinos. How do you lose? The house always wins. But for whatever reason, mainstream media, and you said you weren't going to do this in 2020, and you did it again, but you're doing it worse now. You're not covering both candidates the same way, and it's not right. I know it's about dollars and cents, and I understand it. I've got a website. I've got a show. I get it. But when we're in the position that we're in now, dollars and cents mean nothing to our democracy, which we could lose, and to humanity, which we can go back decades to Jim Crow era. I know you don't want that. I honestly believe that. I know you're greedy, but I don't think you really want what you're trying to get. I was very happy to see President Biden say, start covering both sides fairly, because you don't. And it's wrong. And we, the American people, are tired of it. The New York Times wrote that story. They didn't write it because they wanted to write that Trump isn't qualified to be the candidate for the Republican Party. They wrote it because there were so many people that canceled the New York Times after that story about the 8 neurologist visits or whatever went to the White House and tried to make it look like it was for Biden. And that story was proven. What happened to Edward R. Murrow? What happened to Walter Cronkite, Harry Reasoner, Ted Koppel, Sam Donaldson, Dan Rather? Where are you, Joe DiMaggio? That line, right? The story isn't you, though you make it you. The story is democracy and humanity. I hope people in the mainstream media are watching this and you take it to heart and you wake up tomorrow and try to do your part. I know that's unrealistic. I don't live in a bubble, because I know that you're dictated to by the networks and you're all about ratings, and ratings mean commercials, and commercials mean more money in your pocket, because if your time slot does well, you're going to get more money. Well, the only one I really could say that's not playing this game is Lawrence O'Donnell. That's it. That's it. And some of you follow me. So I hope that you see this video in the mainstream media and try to do the right thing. And don't do it for yourself. Don't do it for your networks. Do it for democracy and do it for humanity. That's my message, plain and simple. Democracy, humanity.